So I'm being elected as a chartered physicist and member of the Institute of Physics in London. And then, because this lecture concerns my fellowship in the United States, so I put like CRDF Global Fellow because they are my sponsors, and then the Department of Physics. This is my sponsor, CRDF Global American Department of State in Washington, and then my home institution is the University of Baghdad. Of course, if I acknowledge implicitly, I will acknowledge the support of the College of Science and the Department of Physics. And then my US institution is Florida State University, and you can see this is my ID card there on my arrival. And then my host was Professor, distinguished research professor, in fact, Dr. Bruce Locke at the College of Engineering. He's the advisor of he's the advisor of this lab. That's high voltage discharges on, for air and water pollution control. And we were in room 218 in the college, and this is the advisor of the college, Dr. Bruce Locke. Of course, Bruce Locke, or Bruce, we call him, he's a vice president of the university, as well as, and he recently nominated as or appointed as the Dean of the College of Engineering. So he has three positions. It's pulse discharge or high voltage pulse with frequencies, low power, low current, and also this is the what we call it in the plasma. It's one type of plasma is called non-thermal plasma. Means we are having low power discharges in the And the ongoing experiment there, as I said, we are having the liquid phase of the matter, and then we will have this contact with these electrons. And also we were designing the operating chemical reactors or plasma reactors, very small, you will see in a minute. And then other concerns we were having, we were using power supplies with 1 to 2 watts as a power, and then these are I will talk about the main tools or the main setups in a minute. Yeah, of course, when I started, this is just to tell you about, I got these three numbers or issues of IEEE plasma, transactions on plasma, and I went through all of these articles. In fact, so I made a summary of all these articles, so that, and you can see these labels there. You can see these labels. So these are the papers or the articles of interest. That was on these issues are on December 2014. So just one of them is a month old, 1 month old. Now. Yeah, this is the chemical reactor. These are this is the electrode, one electrode, this is another electrode, and these are the fittings, and this is the main body of the container of the plasma. So, the assembly of these components, next, yeah, this is the so these are the electrodes. We are having stainless steel electrodes, cylindrical, and also this is the separation, the electrode separation was about 3 to 4 millimeters. So imagine, this is the design of the reactor, and all reactions take place here, inside this body. And yeah, this is the setup. So this is the reactor, as you can see. And then Now, if we were having the air and the liquid, I mean both of them, the liquid and the gas phase, were going into the reactor, and then the collection of the output, the product of the reaction, is in here. So it's also water, but with chemical products, because we're having chemical reaction inside this. This is the other parts, like this is the high voltage probe, and these are the other components of the experimental setup. Yeah, this is a typical output of the oscillograms. I mean, we are in Department of Physics are very, very familiar with this type of oscillograms. I mean, this is the current pulse, this is the voltage pulse, and then because we are having a pulse with a frequency, 100 of hertz, so it means this pulse repeats itself 400 or 500 times in a second. So this is a typical pulse, and this is one of the points which I was interested in there, in fact, because to combine physics or plasma physics with chemical and plasma chemistry, so it's some sort of combining how to work out the main parameters of the pulse circuit. We have R, L, and C, and from the time evolution of this pulse, we can work out these components, like the damping factor, producing the plasma at a pressure of 60 psi with this frequency. So we have to have some approach to analyze these pulses or these oscillograms. That's the current and voltage pulse. And from that we can work out the power, as you know. This is the first goal added. The second one, okay. The second one was, that's the difference, as you know, the difference between physics and chemistry. We have energy interaction, or interaction of matters. Now, in chemistry, we get different material, different output, different matter. In physics, we get the same matter, but with another phase, different phase. Like if we have energy interact with a matter, so the chemistry deals with, okay, this matter will go from X to Y, different material, different matter. But in physics, we have the same matter, X, but in different phase or state. Now, this is the philosophy behind what I was thinking. So I suggested to add some sort of energy to the interaction or to the experimental setup, and that energy was a magnetic field. So you use a magnetic field on the discharge and see what's going on. What's the effect of magnetic field on chemical reactions, or on the plasma physics and chemistry there in this little reactor, as you saw. So this is the reactor with the magnet holder, and this, of course, this is the pin for scaling. And this is a holder, that's a magnet holder, so we put them together, and this is a new design, by the way. And made it there, so in the workshop, so we had about 3 or 4 samples of these to put the magnet, which was always a permanent magnet, square permanent magnet, and it's supposed to be strong enough because that was purchased from there, a company there, and we got about 10 of them, 10 permanent magnets. The magnetic field, next, yeah, this is a Gauss meter, of course. They were not having this Gauss meter or magnetic field measuring instrument or device. So we got this one, a Gauss meter, which is operated with 2 modes: high magnetic field and low magnetic field. And And another, next. Yeah, this is the whole reactor assembled with the magnets on. Next. Yeah, and this is another configuration of the reactor, of course. We put the magnets, I mean, in terms of the positioning around the chemical reactor or the plasma reactor. We put them on both sides or on one side and so on, because as you know, when we have a current going like that, we have a magnetic field around this current. So if we have the magnetic field lines along the gap spacing, so it means if we have electrons, so either they will be around the magnetic field lines, towards the gap spacing or away, depends on the polarity of the magnetic field and the way the magnetic field was applied to the gap or to the spacing. And the third one, in fact, okay, because we are having, we needed or required kilovolts to produce the plasma, which is high voltage. So why don't we use, because the high voltage is required, this is the mechanism plasma physicists know. I mean, it's working with the, Paschen curve, the far right of the Paschen curve, which is, we call it streamer mechanism. So streamer mechanism means this mechanism occurs at high pressure. So why don't we make the pressure lower so that we can work on other region of Paschen curve? So this is one of my goals there, suggestion, proposal, to have the setup or the experiments at low pressure, and for that we got a rotary pump, we bought and purchased a rotary pump and other vacuum fittings, and well, this is at that time I returned back in here, but people will be carrying out these experiments at low pressure, of course, and this is prepared or arranged in a way within within the period of my fellowship there, the 6 months of my fellowship. So, and it's documented in my even final report of the ISFP. Yeah, so we have other individual skills. In fact, I mentioned that already. We have some sort of interaction between the concepts of plasma physics and the plasma chemistry and this engineeringly designed reactor or chemical reactor. And of course, what we wanted to do is to have some sort of theoretical analysis before we go into the details of these experiments. And next. New skills, individual skills, this is new skills and experiment. Of course, I attended training classes for safety and environment hazards, and also we had a training on the new versions of oscilloscope, Tektronix oscilloscope. And in fact, I was talking with other safety, high voltage discharges, and of course, what we are having here downstairs in our plasma lab, we have a capacitively coupled discharge. We have a capacitor coupled to the region of the plasma generating medium. But in here, the experiments are carried out with inductively coupling or inductive coupling between the plasma and the source of energy, of course, the power supply. And it's a coil, like a coil between the power supply connected to the plasma chamber. So these are the new skills, the 5 new skills. Next. Applications or application, doesn't matter, the S or the it's just the same. We have chemical and biomedical application. You can imagine the water. Whenever you talk about water, or wherever you see water, you can think of what kind of applications in physics, chemistry, engineering, medicine, or whatever. It's water. So this is the chemical biomedical engineering, and this is air and water pollution control. Why? Because we produce hydrogen peroxide in that. And then thirdly, we have some this experience in the plasma physics laboratory or physics laboratory. These are the applications. Next, supplementary activities. Okay. Supplementary activities, not only these experiments were working with the lab, the College of Engineering, and these were, we'll see some pictures of course, of that. Well, we had some training on hazards, as I said, environment, or else we were dealing with the upgraded standard or updated American standard with how to deal with safety measures, laboratory safety, how to dispose of glassware or chemicals. In fact, they were very interesting too, and they are very interesting to be followed in here. In fact, this is what I will write in my report to the college here, hopefully in the next few days. Next. Yeah. This is the chemical safety, and this is the training of chemical safety and so on. Next. Yeah. This is the one of the international conferences I attended is the IEEE International Conference on Host Power. It's called IEEE International Host Power Conference, and that was held in Texas, Austin, Texas, and I was a representative of the University of Baghdad there. Maybe it's just very few, if not know somebody from the Arab area, and this is the banner of the conference, and in fact there were two conferences at the same time. It's a dual conference, but I was attending the Post-Power conference. So the other conference it's a symposium on fusion engineering, and it was going on at the same time with different rooms we were having. So it was in Hilton, Austin, in Texas, over the period May 31st to June 4, 2015. Next. Yeah, about 80 sessions that was in the conference. So I attended 80 sessions. They were whether it's plenary or individual research sessions on the conference, and we were having afternoon poster sessions, and exhibitions. There were exhibitions of very well-known companies in the United States, and some sort of private communication with very prominent figures in the subject. And then finally we have a scientific visit, and the visit was to an active military base in the outskirts of Texas. And William Steiger, very well-known figure in high voltage, he was awarded a prize in 2015, Erwin Marx Prize, because he designed, he's involved in Sandia National Laboratory in the United States. He's involved in high energy density. So it was him who designed and operated hundreds of Marx generators, and triggered simultaneously. Imagine, during the 80s and the 90s, people were working with 2 or 5 or 6 or even 10 Marx generators at the same time as a cascade. This is in high voltage engineering, we call it cascade. Now, he was able to design and operate hundreds of mini generators. So this is why he was awarded a prize, Erwin Marx Prize, in 2015 this year. Alan Gammer, New Mexico, University of New Mexico, that's in the poster session, and I was interested in what he was doing, pulses on some sort of biological cells, and he was interested to measure signals or cells, and the time of evolution of these output signals through cells, and mostly it was a thermodynamic, but in a form of pulse power technology, and the physics of pulse power. This is Ron Rodrigues. He died on April. He's one of the well-known computational plasma physics people. So he went, and the conference gave him a remembrance or a memory of Ron Rodrigues, and that was in one of the conference sessions, of course, because he's a computational plasma physicist. This is another activity of myself to visit Kennedy Space Center, NASA, and then this is at the entrance of NASA, and to see what's going on, and the space shuttles, and etc. So I won't go into the details, but it's what I call a supplementary activity. Next. Yeah, this is where are the rockets launched, and there is something very interesting. I mean, there are very interesting numbers in this area, but one of the numbers which I will tell you about is when they launched the rocket. Excuse me. When they launched the rocket, of course, it's associated with a very strong shock wave. To quench this shock wave, they require 400,000 gallons of water. So they release this amount of water over what period? In 30 seconds. To quench. So 400,000 gallons of water in 30 seconds to quench the shock wave left behind the launching of the rocket of Space Shuttle. So this is Cape Canaveral. In fact, at that day, they were preparing for a launching a new rocket, but in fact, because I returned back to Tallahassee, so I didn't see the launching on the launching day of the rocket. This is the control room where the countdown is. So we're sitting there. I mean, remember when they say the countdown for we have ignition, the rockets, so on, so for the space shuttles. So they have these boards, tens of them there, they make sure it's a ticking system. Every light on the board, these tens of boards should be green, because it means every green means the rocket is ready to be launched, and so on. And this is the room. Well, this is an engineer, that's Bruce Locke. It's just his hair. This is myself. Yes. And this is the engineer from Tektronix. This is the latest version of oscilloscope, Tektronix oscilloscope. And that's Rob, he's a PhD student. And this is Patrick, who's an MSc student in electrical engineering. And we were listening to this guy. He was, of course, I told them we are familiar with these, how to work with these oscilloscopes. But I'll tell you something. I told this engineer, we are having an old version of 556 Tektronix oscilloscope. And he was surprised because we are having an oscilloscope since the early 70s. I did my MSc with it. And I told him it is still working. And he said, or I told him, I can't remember, he would report that to the Techatronics company. Because it's very, I mean, imagine this oscilloscope when you are having this is a mobile one. I told him, yeah. He was, I mean, he's looked at it, it's very interesting. And this is the Science Museum building in Tallahassee. This is about a few hundred meters where I live, within the town, the city. And this is myself. And these formulas indicates it's a science museum, and this is the gravitational, the famous gravitational law, GM_m1, and this is V, the velocity as a vector V dot something. So this is we were there twice. In fact, we were having student poster sessions, graduate students. They present their research results so that we can make some discussion with them. To recap, these are the concluding remarks. I mean, these experiments are very, very, very important to work with, and we can persuade other centers, I mean, apart from the university, of course. I mean, it's our interest to make something like, to make some setup of these experiments, and we can still collaborate with the people there. I mean, Roosevelt and the group, the team, Florida, FSU, or even in other universities in the United States. And of course, we can have, I have already done this. I put some new syllabus, items in the syllabus, the advanced plasma physics for the PhD students which I'm teaching, giving the lecture. And also, in fact, we can have some sort of, well, it depends now. I may write all the details in my report, so either we can follow some sort of suggestions. And I have 2 certificates of this fellowship. One, next, this is the ISFP certificates. These are the signatures of the people responsible there, the authorized people there, and it says it's an excellent contribution of myself there within the 6 months, technically or scientifically, physics-wise, or so and so. That's excellent contribution. The next one is that's from Florida State University, and this is the signature of Roosevelt as a vice president, dean of the college, and he's the advisor of Room 218 there about the plasma discharge room. And thank you very much for your patience in listening.